Hello, and welcome to another edition of Academic Matters. I'm Joe Marbach, the Provost and Chief Academic Officer at LaSalle University. Today, my guest is Steve Melick. He's the Director of the Center for Entrepreneurship in the School of Business. Steve, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Steve, for those who are viewing for the first time and are just hearing about the Center for Entrepreneurship, tell me a little bit about yourself, how you came to the university, and then tell us what's going on with the center.
Sure. Well, the Center for Entrepreneurship is a new venture by the university. Previous to joining the Center for Entrepreneurship, I spent 17 years as a practicing entrepreneur, starting two businesses, starting them, launching them, running them for 17 years, and eventually exiting both of them. It was a great exit, a great opportunity for me as the Center for Entrepreneurship was coming into existence. I was asked to be one of the founding board members. We defined the programming, some of the academic standards we wanted to achieve, and eventually they asked me to come on full time, which I was more than happy to do.
And you joined the university about 8 months ago?
About 8 months, yes.
Okay. So for folks who hear entrepreneurship but don't quite know what it means, could you define it for folks, capture it in a nutshell?
Yeah, and I think that one of the reasons that this makes sense for LaSalle is entrepreneurship starts with having the confidence and the creativity and the willingness to do something and make a change for the better. And I think that confidence really has a great opportunity here on campus. We have some terrific students, some absolutely astounding alumni here that support us and also come back and ask to participate in our center services. Maybe they're maybe looking for a new venture in life, so we service their needs as well.
Okay. What kind of skill sets will students develop as they take certificate programs and take courses in entrepreneurship at LaSalle?
Yeah, I believe that entrepreneurship is something that is an innate talent that students have. It's less an academic environment, or it's less of an academic practice than it is something that students have inside them, people have inside them. And so our center exists to try and bring that out, let students explore their entrepreneurial interests and creative ideas, explore them. We're going to provide some business support behind it by way of some financial statements and things like that, business planning tools. But most of all, we want to give people the confidence to take that first step, take that idea, transform it into opportunity, and then on to launch.
Now, is the certificate, the whole program, is it just limited to business students?
No, absolutely not. As an example, I didn't have a business background before starting my businesses. My background was in computer science. I saw a need, I understood the opportunity available, and I went for it. So a lot of my business background came as on-the-job training. Mm-hmm. And we probably could have been a little bit more successful in our early years with some better training, and that's what I hope to bring to our students here at LaSalle. Give them more fundamental basics on how to start and run and manage their business ventures and ensure long-term success.
So you're going to be reaching out to students in the School of Nursing, School of Arts and Sciences. I know you mentioned something about a video contest or video program that you're
entrepreneurship is not limited to any one discipline. It's available to virtually every aspect, whether you're in psychological services and counseling, computer science and information technology, chemistry, biology. Ideas come from every part of the world and every educational context. And so we're here to help support and nurture them. We're not looking to convert students into business students. It's really just the opposite. We want them to stay in their majors and give them the support structures to pursue those interests and give them the business support to make them successful.
Okay. And you're not limiting this just to students. There's some outreach to the community, outreach to alumni?
Yeah, absolutely. We're spending a lot of time working with other networks around the Philadelphia area. There's a great group down in Philly called Philly Startup Leaders, which is mostly in the IT space, trying to find opportunities there. Another organization that works with high school students called Startup Corps. And I think there's a lot of synergies around that we can bring our students into the community. We can bring the community over to LaSalle. We're reaching out to our alumni, our business partners, and really trying to keep a Big Ten approach, because this is something that there's no one particular person or no one particular skill that makes an entrepreneur successful. I think this is a team effort, and the collaboration is something that I think the university plays a big role in here.
Oh, that's great. It's great to hear that you're reaching out to the high school. So if there's a prospective student out there who might be interested in business or running a business or being their own boss, then LaSalle could be the place for them.
We'd love to talk to them. We'd love to talk to them even before they get here. Yeah, and I think that when they do get here, they'll immediately receive support from start to finish.
That's great. And then on the other end, I guess if there are alumni at home thinking about that startup business or that new career, or maybe they're unemployed in this economy, you might have some options for them.
As a point of example, I had one of our alumni contact me a few weeks ago. He was recently laid off from a pretty prestigious company and decided to take his own venture on, and within 45 days he's ready for launch.
Really? Mm-hmm. And I know, speaking of alumni, you've got a tremendous board. Maybe you can tell us a bit about the board, and it's made up of mostly alumni who have been quite successful as entrepreneurs themselves.
Yeah, very successful, and a fairly diverse board. We have a combination of founders of existing and former companies, people that are very prominent in venture capital community, bankers, people that work in law firms and legal professions. And so we can bring that wealth of knowledge, and that's just our advisory board before we even talk about our larger alumni network. We can bring all that wealth of knowledge and experience to our students here on campus.
That's great. What types of events are planned for the center, by the center, to reach out to students, to reach out to alum?
Well, we had our first open house event in September. The topic of that was the role of entrepreneurship in the new economy. And we wanted to highlight that entrepreneurship is becoming less of a niche focus and more of something that's universally expected from the workforce. So whether students are thinking about starting their own business or wish to enter the workforce, working for maybe a larger established business, entrepreneurial spirit is going to separate them from the pack and identify them as leaders in their careers. Next is an event on campus on November 10th for students during the daytime. It's going to be at 12:30 in the Dan Rodden Theater, and we have a tremendous guest. Anita Andrews is a prominent Philadelphia representative of the technical community. She's CEO of a social media consulting firm, and she sits on Mayor Nutter's Digital Task Force Philadelphia. And she's going to talk to us about how to think and act entrepreneurially in your careers and what that means. In the spring, our big event is going to be our Hall of Fame event. We're going to bring alumni on campus, recognize alumni achievements, but also we want to make this a student-focused event as well. So we'll set up a few events for students to participate, learn, and network with our alumni.
Okay, and that's scheduled for early spring, late spring?
Mid to late spring.
Mid to late
Date
spring.
is to be determined.
Okay, sounds very exciting. And I know in addition to those three big events, that students could also take a course on entrepreneurship. I know you said it's not necessarily something that you can train someone in, but you're actually going to let students explore those inner talents, I guess, in some way.
Yes, and this is going to be a bit unique in its format. Less focus on textbooks and less focus on examinations and more on practice and theory, and are students willing to take that step and be a little bold with their ideas. And those are the types of things we're going to measure and see if students are really picking up on some of those aspects of entrepreneurship. And that's going to be our first class we're going to offer in the spring. A second class will be followed after that. And we get into more of the technical aspects of entrepreneurship, like different business corporation types and financing structures and things like that. But the first course is purely explorative and gives students the opportunity to get hands-on with their own ideas.
Okay, and that's going to be open to all students, not specific
students,
in
absolutely.
a particular major? Okay.
All students.
So we'll be encouraging them to take advantage of that and explore some new ideas. It sounds like a really great opportunity, so it's something that we will push in academic affairs.
Sure.
Beyond that, you've got these other events going on. What else would a student, an individual who's interested in entrepreneurship, what would they be looking to do? You're developing a certificate. Are you looking at internships? Are you looking at placement with businesses, mentoring relationships? What do you have in mind?
Yeah, entrepreneurship is more than grades and classes and resumes. In fact, typical entrepreneurs focus less on a resume and more on their experience. And I think entrepreneurs tend to take a lot of pride in their work. And even the ventures, maybe they didn't do so well because there's always a lesson learned or something there that they can build upon. And I think that something that they can build upon is that real work experience. We want to drive people towards internships with some entrepreneurial companies, and that's one of the reasons we're building these relationships with Philly startup leaders and others. Get them hands-on with their own ideas or supporting other people's ideas and understanding what this world of entrepreneurship is all about. Many of these companies are operating out of out of a garage somewhere like Microsoft did one day, or maybe they're being hosted in one of the local incubators around town. But you still have that grit that comes with those early days of entrepreneurship, and that's the feeling we really like to give students.
Now, a lot of it involves some type of capital. Are we looking at developing or linking people to venture capitalists in any way? Do you have a network out there of venture capitalists?
Yeah, we can. Back to our board of advisors and other alumni, we have people in very prominent positions that can lead to capital. As a former entrepreneur, I can sort of set the expectations as to the proper timing to go get capital, how much, and how to structure it. And that's the type of advice, the real world advice we want to give students.
So you'll be teaching them how to write a business plan, how to approach
Yep.
people who have the money. The Shark Tank, isn't that
Yeah.
the show that's on NBC or something?
Yeah, and we want to take some of the fear and fright out of things like financial statements and cash flow statements. I mean, these are not complex instruments, but they are critical to running an effective business. You don't need to be an MBA to understand these things. And we want to teach people, we want to teach students how to use these things and what they really mean to their business in a way that makes sense. And so if they do desire then to go on and take a minor in business administration, that's terrific. But it's something that I think we're going to at least give them a starting point to act upon.
Okay. Steve, we have just about a minute left. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, get in touch with the center, what's the best way to contact you?
Well, we have a couple ways. We're operating through our School of Business Facebook account. Okay. You can find us on Facebook at LaSalle School of Business by searching. We also set up our own LaSalle Center for Entrepreneurship on Facebook, and my email address is Melick, M-E-L-I-C-K, @lasalle.edu.
That's great. We wish you a lot of luck. We think we have a real winner, and we're glad that you joined us at LaSalle, and look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you.
My guest has been Steve Melick. He's the director of the Center for Entrepreneurship in the School of Business at LaSalle University. Please stay tuned as I welcome my next guest, Dean Joe Ugras of the College of Professional and Continuing Studies. Hello, and welcome back to Academic Matters. Once again, I'm Joe Marbach, the Provost at LaSalle University, and I'm pleased to be joined by Joe Ugras, who wears many hats at LaSalle. He is a professor of accounting, he's dean of the College of Professional and Continuing Studies, and recently he's been named the Executive Director of International Education on campus. Joe, welcome to the program. I'm glad you're able to take time out of your busy schedule to join me.
Thank you very much, Joe. It's a pleasure to be here.
Joe, I ran down a litany of some of the jobs you're doing, but tell us how long you've been at LaSalle, what attracted you in the first place, and why you've stayed so long.
Sure. This is my 25th year at LaSalle.
Oh,
so
silver anniversary.
Yeah, silver anniversary. So I'm very proud and very happy to be here for so long. And I came to LaSalle to the accounting department at a time where we had some really important founders of the accounting department, and they were going through a transition. And I came as a role of integrating use of computers in the teaching of accounting. And later on, I moved to a variety of different positions, and I was at one point the MBA director and the associate dean in the business school. Then my entrepreneurial aspects got me to be the dean of the College of Professional and Continuing Studies. And as you know, recently, with me being somewhat international and have done some international programming, I was appointed to be the executive director of international education. So it's been about a month that I've been in this role, and I'm really enjoying it.
Okay, tell me a little bit more about that, Joe. What's the charge? What are the challenges of international education in an urban campus, a city campus like LaSalle?
Well, we do have a variety of opportunities for our students to really get an international exposure. What are some opportunities? And how do we expand these opportunities to our students? How do we promote them? How do we advance them? How do we expand them? How do we make it more accessible for them? Some of the opportunities, of course, they require some budgetary commitment. For example, study abroad. So we have a variety of opportunities for our students to study abroad at one of our partner schools in Italy, in Ireland, in Australia. So they can visit one of these schools and go for an extended term, one semester, and their credits come back to LaSalle. Or they can go, as you know, we are a consortium. So there's a LaSalle, the name LaSalle, as you know, there's a worldwide connection of LaSalle universities.
Yeah, in fact, there are LaSalle and Christian Brothers are in 80 countries, teaching 900,000
exactly
children to college-age students.
College-age students. And in the US, there are 6 LaSalle universities. So the 6 LaSalle universities have formed a consortium. So a student can participate not only in our own study abroad programs, but they can also join a study abroad program that is one of the LaSalle University study abroad programs.
And I think it's a pretty extensive program that covers, if I'm not mistaken, about 20 different countries and many cities within those countries.
Exactly. So how do we expand that opportunity to our students? How do we promote that? How do we get the students to be more comfortable to participate in that? And in addition to that, we have these short-term travel study courses, as you know. So each year we have about 150 students who participate in one of these short-term courses.
They last 10 days to 2 or 3 weeks?
Exactly. So during spring break, they go take advantage of learning more by visiting a country. So it's part of a course, and the course has a spring break, for example, component. While doing the spring break, instead of going home, they have a travel component. So they go to China, or they go to Vietnam, or they go to Europe and learn about cultures, how to run a business there, and get an exposure to themselves of being more international. Yeah. So our faculty have been very good in organizing these opportunities, and some of them are really through our LaSalle network. So as you mentioned, the universities that are all over the world serve as a great opportunity for us to expand our reach. So we are working, for example, very closely with LaSalle Barcelona. So LaSalle Barcelona, a very attractive place, Spain, nice climate, but also a very strong academic institution. Right. In my experience with all these LaSallian schools, there's one thing that comes across. Even though we are decentralized and we all operate separately, the common thing is passion for teaching and passion for commitment for our students. So right. No matter which LaSalle you go to, that really comes across. So we have tried to expand the opportunities for our students to take advantage of that.
Yeah. Now, in addition to sending our students abroad, internationalizing the campus also means bringing in students from foreign countries. Yes. What efforts have you undertaken to make LaSalle more attractive for foreign students to want to come and study?
Yeah. Studying in the U.S. is, for many world citizens, a premier opportunity. An opportunity, if somebody can afford to come to U.S. and get an education, that is a really tremendous opportunity for many citizens of the world. The question is sometimes the affordability doesn't meet the needs of those countries. So we have tried to make a variety of different programs. One is short programs, like our students going abroad for a short period. We bring students here for the summer. So every summer we have a variety of different institutions that send students to LaSalle to get an international exposure for their students.
And this summer in particular, we're having a Leadership Institute with 4 different LaSallian universities.
Exactly. If I can talk a little bit about that. My good colleague, Bob Vogel, has been working with his counterparts in Rio, at LaSalle in Rio. And they have been working together over a number of years, where our students, the 2 institution students, have been working with LaSalle Bethlehem students. So these 3 schools start forming a relationship. Now we've expanded that to include other LaSallian institutions. So this summer, for a 2-week period, the students from 5 LaSallian institutions from Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, Rio,
in Brazil, Rio
de Janeiro, and LaSalle Barcelona will all be coming here. So LaSalle Philadelphia is the focus of that program.
With the
and
host
doing that
institution.
with the host institution. Okay. So, in addition to that, we would love to bring more four-year students to come to LaSalle, as well as graduate students to come to LaSalle.
Now, language is often a barrier, so I know you've taken some steps to try to ease that. Tell us about.
So this year we started a new initiative, and that is we started a program called English Language Institute. And this is to provide opportunities for students who do not quite have the level of English that allows them to be successful in a 4-credit class. So the English Language Institute prepares the students for, as an English second language program, to be ready to take courses. So a student would come to our English Language Institute, spend 1 or 2 semesters, or maybe 3 semesters, be ready to succeed at LaSalle. So the program just started this fall, and it looks like it's going to be a success, and we're going to have more international students be on campus. And that, of course, helps internationalize the rest of the community, because once we have these international students, you get to interact with students from all over the world.
Shared experience.
Shared experience, exactly.
And now, if I'm not mistaken, the English Language Institute will soon be made available to local residents too. So if someone's watching at home and is having some difficulty, English is their second language, they would be able to come to LaSalle and take some courses.
Exactly. As you know, Philadelphia is a very culturally diverse community with many nationalities being here. So we think that we have an opportunity to provide English language instruction to our residents who want to come in and improve their English before they can enroll in a 4-credit program at LaSalle, whether it's an undergraduate or graduate. So I will take my minute to promote www.lasalle.edu/ELI for English Language Institute to promote the opportunities for anybody that's watching this show who has somebody who
need some English training.
English training, and we do have that.
Yeah. What's the size of the number of foreign students on campus now, Joe?
We do have our Will to Excel goals to have 50 freshmen each year. So we are currently at 22. So by 2015, we want to expand that number to 50 undergraduate freshmen. Obviously, if you multiply that by 4, you get the picture that
we get to
you want to have a
total.
Yeah, and the goal is to especially add international students to our School of Business, because that is the major, most international students like to enter. In addition, we think we can recruit more graduate students. So each year we get about 20 students to enter our graduate programs from various international markets. So we do have an international recruitment activity in place. So our international recruiter just returned from Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
So, and these things are looking very bright in terms of the coming year for increasing the international population here at LaSalle.
So we're really making an effort that way.
Yes, we are.
Joe, we've got less than a minute left, and we haven't talked about your other duties in the College of Professional and Continuing Studies. I hope you'll be able to come back maybe next semester, and we can focus on some of the outreach you're doing, the new programs you're doing with ITM, the technology, human development, human capital development, non-credit programming. Yeah, I mean, you really do a lot and are very busy, I know.
Thank you very much, Joe. It will be my pleasure to come back. My email is ugras@lasalle.edu. If anybody watching has some input, has some idea for how we can further internationalize LaSalle, I do have a very good committee that's really working hard at it.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Once again, my guest was Dean Joseph Ugras of the College of Professional and Continuing Studies and the Executive Director of International Studies at LaSalle University. Thank you for watching.